Ever get the feeling you've been cheated?
After Kanye West's recent support of conservative values and his obvious disgust with the Democrat Party, it got me to thinking, can conservatives be creative? Whatever you might think about Kanye's unique beliefs, there's no doubt he is creative. When I was young, I just assumed that punk was a left-wing art form. It pushed freedom of speech to the forefront with its ability to give anyone a voice. It was the do-it-yourself ethos and the importance of the individual over establishment collectives. But I think there's a genuine argument to be made that the punk ethos now in 2020 is more at home on the right. My favourite musician of all time is Morrissey. Morrissey very much identified himself as a lefty at the beginning of his career, but finds himself today accused of being on the far right. Maybe Morrissey would resent being called a conservative, but he has been outspoken on British heritage and voiced support for Brexit, although he didn't support Trump. Neither Kanye nor Morrissey are what most would consider traditional punk, although they have more punk attitude than many so-called punk bands. So let's take a look at my favourite punk bands and see if they could be guilty of leaning right. Misfits singer Michael Graves is a vocal Christian. He believes in the importance of individual liberty. He's an outspoken defender of the police and military. He also served in the US Marines himself. He even launched a website named conservativepunk.com. Misfits' original singer, Glenn Danzig, described himself as being conservative on some issues whilst liberal on others, and openly defended certain Trump policies. Ian MacKaye, lead singer of Fugazi, is credited with coining the term straight edge to describe a personal philosophy that promotes abstinence from alcohol, tobacco and sex. Despite persistently voting Democrat, MacKaye doesn't consider himself to be a Democrat. He has expressed that he will support the party that is least likely to go to war. You could never accuse MacKaye of being a capitalist or even a fiscal conservative, but an argument could be made that he isn't that far removed from being a social conservative. Arguably the greatest band of all time, Johnny and Dee Dee Ramone both identified as conservatives. In fact, Johnny is considered one of the most right-wing guys in rock. Johnny was the driving force behind the band and was considered one of the most important guitarists in rock history. He was a staunch supporter of the Republican Party and considered Reagan the greatest president in his lifetime. John Lydon, earlier known as Johnny Rotten, lead singer of the Sex Pistols, could be the very face of punk. Like many, he considered himself a lefty, but with the shifting of political lines, many would now accuse him of being a right-winger, even though he supported Obama. Lydon confirmed he voted for Trump in the last election. He was even photographed wearing a Make America Great t-shirt. Lydon has been struggling for years to get people to wake up from the control of the US media and that it was being dominated by liberal ideology. So wake up, people. If you believe that punk is purely left-wing and there's no place for anyone else in that movement, take a long, hard look at yourself. If Joey Ramone, a lifelong Democrat, and Johnny, a self-proclaimed conservative, can make some of the greatest music ever made together, there's no reason we can't do great things in the future. Just stop the hate.
God bless President Bush and God bless America.